Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards. And today I wanted to talk about the perseverance mindset. And the reason I decided to talk about this was because I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable here. It's been a rough year. I began 2022 with the death and the grief of losing my mother. And then I went on to getting a wisdom tooth pulled. It was a very traumatic experience for me. I actually had a mishap from it. My jaw was dislocated because of the turnout. It was just awful. It was just such an awful experience. I didn't heal as fast because, come to find out, the suture was sewed in one of my nerves. It's crazy. And then right after that, I had a major surgery. I had a hysterectomy. I found out I had cancer. And then I didn't heal as fast as I thought I would. And I realized the human body is different. And it's okay. I'm going to heal at my own pace. I'm going to take it easy, take it slow, and honor the healing path that I'm on. Meanwhile, throughout this whole year, I was jumping back into my business. I was trying to find my way after spending 6 months previous of 2022 with my mother, who was terminally ill with cancer. And I had put my business on the back end so that way I could just fully focus on my mom, my family, and myself, really trying to keep my mindset well, keep my body well, keep my spirit up, despite what we were currently facing last year and then going into 2022. I say I'm going to be vulnerable because a lot of my listeners and people who watch this don't really know the story of when I first began my journey into entrepreneurship. I really began in 2008 when I started speaking at a shelter in Phoenix. I had originally planned to create this workshop, this public speaking event, and I did all the back end work, all the admin. I was really, really wanting to do something to give back to the community, and I didn't know how to start, where to start, and I just decided, okay, if Zig Ziglar can do it after reading one of his books, then I can do it with very little. And it was free. It was free to go in and volunteer and to provide this workshop. And the workshop was based on the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the night before the speaking engagement, the person who was supposed to be speaking canceled on me. And I was confused, crushed, pissed. Like, what? We had spent a month trying to get into the shelter. You have to go through a background check. You have to go through an interview. It wasn't just your normal just walk in and help people kind of shelter. It was an adults only. There were police on the campus. You really had to go in as a leader in there. And when the speaker had canceled, I just thought, well, okay, do I cancel? Do I give up? What do I do? And a friend of mine, a mentor at the time, said, you know all of the information. Why don't you get up there and present it? Why don't you get up there and speak? And so I did. I just thought to myself, I've never really public spoke besides in school, in grade school when I was like president of my class in 5th grade. And I never was like, oh, I want to be a public speaker. This is what I want to do. This is my dream. I want to motivate and inspire and help people. But the universe has a way of showing you the path. No matter how many times you resist it, it's like, this is what you're meant for. This is what you're going to do in life. And I showed up. I didn't cancel. I showed up in 2008. And I'll never forget, I stood up there with me, my boombox, and my brother-in-law, and I said, look, I'm not your actual speaker today. There was supposed to be somebody else, but come with me on this journey because I did create this for you. And I'm going to be the one presenting it to you today. And I want you to take note that I've never done this before, which means if I've never done this and it can be done, then you can do something that you've never done. And it really just takes getting out of your comfort zone, feeling the fear and making moves anyways. I remember standing up there, delivering the whole workshop, blasting the music, dancing, and giving the worksheets out. And I said, I'm going to do these worksheets along with you. You're not going to be alone. We're going to do this together. After the workshop, the public speaking event, a mother and her daughter, both adults, came up to me and just gave me a hug and just said, I've never heard this information before. I never heard anything about mindset before. And the mom started crying and she said, you've given me hope. You've given me and my daughter hope that we can make something of ourselves. And it was that moment that I realized there is power in message. There is power in telling your story. There is power in being vulnerable. There is power in the giving heart. And from that moment on, I continued doing workshops and public speaking in the shelters in Phoenix for almost 4 years. I went on to speak at the women's and children's, the teens, the families, and it was just such a blessing to me to practice my public speaking skills as I moved along through the years. I actually never read any books on public speaking. I never took classes. I never went to Toastmasters. I never developed my public speaking skills in any other outsource besides working within the workshops at the shelters. There was something in me that just said, I want to be in the moment. I want to be here with them. I actually want to feel the fear. And I want to push myself past the comfort zone. And I want every single time I get up there to be this feeling like I'm not prepared, but my heart is 100% in it. And whatever comes out of me, that's coming from the heart. And that's why I never practiced or memorized what I was going to say in the shelters and in my public speaking events. And since then, I've gone to create my own speaking events. My last one was in 2020 in Las Vegas. And I can tell you from 2008 to 2020, on all the workshops, all the public speaking events I've ever done, never memorized any of them, never practiced any of them. I really just stood up there and came with the heart and the gold within me, the treasure that I felt I just wanted to give. And that's how I did it with all of my workshops. And then I went on to do yoga retreats somewhere in there after 2015. And I got to tell you, when you have this desire to give and to help people, there's times when maybe one person shows up at your events. And I would tell my mother, only one person showed up. Sometimes that one person was just me. That means nobody really showed up, but I showed up. And my mom would always encourage me and cheer me on and say, even if nobody shows up, you show up anyways. Even if one person shows up, that is the person that you are meant to speak to. That is the person that was meant to come in and hear what you have to say. Because something bigger is speaking through you. So you have to show up and let that voice be heard. Let the message be heard. It's so true. I've never felt so connected in my life to people until I'm on those stages, until I'm on the platforms where I can just give and love myself right where I'm at and love the people right where they're at and just feel like we're connected. Not make it about me, but always make it about we. We are doing this together. We are on this journey. You are coming with me. We are going to make it. We're going to succeed. And that's how I've always felt my work is. Perseverance means so much to me. It meant so much to my mother. My mom was, and I say was now that she's gone, I should say she's still here because she is with me. She's a single mother of 5 kids. She's been through the worst kind of abuse, incest, molestation, physical abuse, just she's had guns to her head. She's had horrible things happen to her. And I had to see and witness this. I got to witness, I was there to see and witness my mom getting brutally abused. But I also got to witness her getting back up and getting out of it and saying, no, this is not going to be me. No, this is not going to be my children's path. I'm getting us out of it. I remember us being in shelters and homeless shelters. I remember us being in battered women's homes. And that's probably where this strength came from me working with women in a circle, because that was my first introduction to sitting with women in circle was at the battered women's home. And I got to witness my mom rising above the ashes and persevering towards her dreams. And her dream was to have an earthship home, building, a tire home. If you don't know what it is, it's a sustainable living home with tires and kind of recycled material. And it's fascinating. You can look it up, Google it. But I learned very early in life how to persevere despite your circumstances, despite what happens to you. And I carried that on into my own life when horrendous things were happening to me. And it comes down to the smallest things in life where my hormones are off and where I'm angry, where I'm having a really bad day, or I got up on the wrong side of the bed, or I feel off, or I just feel low. Something's not aligned. I've learned how to take myself as the experiment, as the protocol of life on how to persevere forward. And I like to say to my clients and my customers, practice what you preach. You want to work with a coach. You want to work with somebody who doesn't just talk about it all over online, but they are about it. They show you, they tell you the story of their life. They tell you how they persevered. And that's the kind of coach I am. I'm a soundboard and confidence coach, somewhat business coach as well. And I've worked with clients and told them, this is how it is with me. This is what I've done. And I'm going to ask you, are you willing to push yourself and persevere and go step into those uncomfortable situations so that way you can grow the muscle to move forward and carry on even further than you are now? It's so important to me to be the example, lead by example, and share my journey along the way. Sexy Freedom, my business, Sexy Freedom Media Podcast has been around for 6 years, going on 6 years. I mean, when I first started this, I didn't know what I was doing. Me and one of my best friends, Danita, we were in our bedroom or her bedroom, and we recorded 5 times just because we couldn't figure out the technology. But we didn't give up. We just kept saying, okay, and go, and go. We're going to do this again. And we were just having the best time because we looked at it like, we're going to get this. We're going to have fun doing it. And we're not doing it alone. We're doing it together. Shout out, Danita. All of my best friends were behind me 100%. All the queens of my round table, all of them were supporting me, encouraging me, loving me, and just cheering me on with all the endeavors I was doing. Having cheerleaders made such a difference for me getting back up and dusting off and going for the stars again. Now that I spend a lot of time by myself, that I've moved out of the state where all of my friends and family are, I find myself saying, okay, I've got to mom me. I've got to be my coach. I've got to be my biggest cheerleader. Because honestly, my mom was my biggest cheerleader. And now I've got to realize her voice is within me now. And I've got to cheer me on. I've got to push forward. And yesterday is a great example. I wasn't feeling too well. I felt, flu-like symptoms. And next thing you know, I had my online Zoom Christmas party for my Facebook group, Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed. And I thought to myself, well, I can't give anybody the flu over the net. So I'm going to show up. And if all I do today is show up and have fun with the little energy I have and put some smiles and connect women to each other, if that's all I do today, then I've won. If I've won, let's do this. And I did. It was an hour. It was an hour commitment. And I did. I followed through and I was so happy and I felt so good after. And some crazy reason, last night I sweated it all out in my sleep and I woke up feeling 100% today. I felt good. And I thought to myself, every day you have this window of opportunity. And you can either take a little baby step forward or you can stay complacent to right where you're at. And sure, it's okay to not be okay. And it is okay to say, I'm going to take a break today. I'm not actually going to take any steps. That's fine. Okay. That is totally fine. But what I'm talking about today is pushing forward, pushing past the pain, taking a few steps forward, taking one baby step forward, persevering despite circumstances, despite anything. And that, stop comparing yourself to everybody else. If Susie Joe wants to take a break and wants to relax, let her do it. But you, the choice is yours. The choice is yours if you want to take a step forward or stay right where you're at and just have a break. The choice is yours. And that's why choice is so powerful, because a year from now, you can look back and reflect and review yourself. How did I do? Where did I go? Did I meet my goals? Am I where I want to be? And these are all great questions to ask yourself. It's very important to evaluate yourself. It's important because you do want to grow. You do want to get ahead. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, if you are somebody who's very goal oriented, like I am, then you could probably relate to this. It's good that I evaluate myself. It's good that I take note on how I can be better, do better. If there's a little bit of energy I can give, so that way I can invest it into whatever endeavors I have. That's perseverance. Perseverance is so powerful. Perseverance is found in the affirmations. If you're wondering, where do I find perseverance? How do I persevere? It's already there. It's already there. You just take note of how you speak to yourself. When you say, I can't, I'm not, woe is me, I'm tired. Like that saying says, make excuses or make moves, I think it's said somewhere differently, but whatever. I think you know what I'm saying. For me, I want to persevere. I want to see results. And even if it's just one baby step forward, I make it. And I know that for me, perseverance is found in so many tools out there. There's so many tools to help you. You've just got to get past your mindset that's trying to roadblock you, trying to build those walls. It's the ego. The ego is like, oh, I'd rather just sleep. I'd rather just feel bad for myself. I'd rather just be depressed. But spirit is so big and so grand and so beautiful. Spirit's like, I want to fly. Let me fly. Please let me fly. Let me soar and show you what I can do. Let me out. And ego is in the way. What I try to do is get ego out of the way and push myself forward and say, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Constant affirmations, especially taking note of any negativity inside my mind. I just slap it around and I'm like, get out of my head. I got this. I don't care how I feel. Feelings, like I control my feelings. I am in control. I have emotional mastery. That's what I tell myself. And I believe it and I act on it. And it's practice. It's training. It's protecting your throne. Yes, queen. Yes, king. Protecting that mind, body, spirit. Protecting your peace and making moves anyways. All right, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope that you persevere. I hope that you go after your goals and you get them all right now and in the new year, especially. Also, go out and get my book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. Oh, there it is. Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. Oh my gosh, where is that? There we go. Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. Available on Amazon and Audible. Also, please share this podcast if it's touched you in any way or if you've gotten something out of it. We'd love to hear your comments and reviews on iTunes and Spotify. You can also buy us a coffee, help support this podcast. We'd love that and appreciate it. Last thing is my Confident and Courageous Me 4-week intensive workshop plus coaching. It is 75% off of my regular coaching price, and you can sign up now. It is limited. It's an online group coaching. It's a combination of mastermind coaching, worksheets, workshops, goal setting. It is going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see you there. So click the link in the bio and sign up today. Thank you for supporting our podcast and listening and watching. I hear it.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at SexyFreedomMedia.com.